partner Cassie Doss, and then we left that one at home. His name's Elijah Delagarza. He didn't make the trip with us, but our company's Titanium Investments. We are a nationwide virtual wholesaler. Our education program is called the Titanium Crucible, and our whole objective is to teach people how to create their own reality. Okay. So when John asked me to come here and speak, it was pretty difficult for me to condense down in 45 minutes because there's so much I want to teach you. So I'm typically the guy that shows up to speak for 45 minutes with 3 slides, but now I showed up with 17 slides. So y'all got to keep me on track, okay? That means we got 2.5 minutes per slide, all right? Now, I like group participation, okay? So I want you to answer when I ask questions.
Yes.
All right? I want you to laugh when I say something funny, because I'm fucking funny, all right? Now, here's what I need all y'all to stand up real quick, okay? Stand up. Group participation. Don't make me come out there and get you if you don't stand up, all right? This is to wake up in the morning. Whatever shows up on this next slide, you're going to yell at the top of your lungs, okay? We all promise we participate?
Yeah.
Yes? All right, here we go. You guys can sit down now. Okay, listen, what we had to go through over the past year and a half, 18 months, however long it's been, this is pretty crazy, right? It's almost 2 years now. This is like unprecedented times. This is going to be stuff that we talk about for the rest of our lives. You know, I mean, look, we're showing up now, we're wearing masks. I have like I don't even know what you call this on my microphone. Our businesses were impacted, right? I remember there were days where Cassie and I literally went to Home Depot and Lowe's trying to find water filtration systems because we thought the world was ending. And listen, if this turned into Walking Dead, I was one of the first gone. They could call me a Viking, but I'm bougie, okay? I was going to be dead. So, but as entrepreneurs, we're still here, right? So a round of applause to you guys for still being here, okay? So I'm going to tell you a couple quick stories, and then the objective here is I'm going to tell you our core traits and what we think makes a successful business. We're going to teach you our marketing flow, and then I'm going to talk a couple things about talking to sellers and how to close. Because yes, I don't wear this every day, okay? I wear this guys for you.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I know, yeah. This is what they gave me for winning the Closers Olympics, okay? So, life-changing story, okay? The $11 story. So Cassie and I spent $65,000 to learn how to wholesale. This is what they taught us for $65,000. You put offers on the MLS, and then when you get under contract, you put it on Craigslist, and that's how you wholesale. Okay? That's what they taught me for $65,000, okay? Now, Cassie and I were contractors. We spent $65,000 on a credit card because we didn't have $65,000. And I went and I got a property under contract. Now, in the state of Texas, you have to pay for the inspection period. We call it the option period, okay? So, earnest money is $1,000, option period is $100. So we put $1,100 down, and that was going to leave us with $11 in our bank account. We have no credit because we spent it all on our education, okay? And I have to go to Cassie and say, listen, we're going to put $1,100 down, and I know I don't know what I'm doing, but you're just going to have to trust me, okay? So, the reason why I felt like Superman during this moment was because Net Worth Realty, a big box wholesaler, one of their sales rep, accidentally CC'd his buyers list to me instead of BCC'd it. So I had 140 buyers, and at the time I thought this meant something. Okay, I was like King Kong, okay? I was like, Cassie, we have 140 cash buyers, okay? This is for sure gone, okay? So, here's our little quote-unquote thing that we got here in Keller, Texas. We wholesaled it for $11,000 fee. One of those guys from Boise, Idaho on the list, his contingency was you have to be able to rehab that house for $40,000. But Cassie and I were general contractors. So I was like, of course, I'm your contractor. The problem was, and this is one of those things, as real estate investors and whatever other industry you might have come from, I didn't put both of my hats on. I just put my wholesaler hat on. And I just plugged it in the calculator, $20 a square foot. Once we went and looked at this, I was like, holy cow, we actually have to rehab this for $40,000. I was a little bit worried, but somehow we made it look nice, and this was our life-changing moment right here. After we did this, we closed another deal that year. We made $27,000. And January 1, New Year's Day of 2015, that's when I told her we're shutting down our contracting business, we're going full-time into wholesaling. That year we made $750,000 in assignments. After that, $1 million, then $2 million, and now we're, well, I mean, we did close to 75, 80 million. So I love logos, so every state has a different logo. So that's us, we're nationwide. That's 1,000 plus properties that we've done since January 1 of 2015. So I shared that just to say, I do know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's my proof of concept. Ooh, I flew through that one. Look at that. All right. How many minutes we in?
We're doing good.
I'm doing fantastic. Yes. All right, guys. Here's step one on what we think are the core traits to building a successful business. Because I asked, I don't know, 15, 20 people walking in here, what do you guys do? I don't think one person said wholesaling. So that's really cool for me in particular because you guys are doing so much outside of what my world is, okay? And what this means, who here has read the book from Jim Collins, Good to Great? Okay, so personally I don't really like the book that much. I thought it was more good than it was great. But this part right here, the Hedgehog Concept, this is something that I really embrace and we embrace in our business. And the reason why is because things were going great. 2015, 2016, 2017, we were making life-changing money for us. Cassie and I had never made that type of money before. But then 2018, RJ made connections by coming to rooms like this, right? There's tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in this room right here. This is how you make connections with private money lenders and you expand your ability in this business, right? So I had access to private capital. I had learned what seller finance was and subject to was, and Cassie and I previously were contractors that had helped people flip houses. So now RJ decided he was going to go into Cookie Monster mode, okay? So we started buying everything. We stopped wholesaling. We forgot what our Hedgehog Concept was, which was nationwide virtual wholesaling. We started taking down flips, we started taking down rentals, we took down Airbnbs, we started seller financing, owner financing. Anything you could pretty much do with single family, we did from 2018 to 2020, okay? And it damn near killed our business. Almost bankrupted us. Now, to the outside world, it looked like we were killing the game. We own 20 plus units in Alaska, another 20 in Hawaii. I got known for being the Hawaii and Alaska guy, which is not something I was very proud of because they were all failing. My private money lenders are calling me saying, listen, dude, you've had the money for 18 months. Like, are you finished with the project? Hell no, I'm not finished with the project. I got 25 of these. I should have never done what I did. I forgot about what our core concepts were. So my thing is now I preach this over and over and over again. Anytime I talk anywhere, decide what your Hedgehog Concept is. I just talked to Peter right before, and he told me, he laid out 3 things he does. And really, they're kind of can almost be included in one another. He can kind of do all 3 of them in one deal. And he knows exactly what he's doing. He's interested in listening to what I have to say today, because he can take 2 or 3 pieces of that and implement it in his business, but he's not going to change his whole core concept of what I do. So decide what your core concept is going to be, your Hedgehog Concept, okay? The next thing is, stop searching for unicorns, okay? So this is one of my biggest pet peeves, especially in wholesaling, okay? Is it prop streams going to be the unicorn? Is it batch leads? Is it going to be REI SIF? Is it going to be Sherpa? What's going to be the unicorn that goes out there and does everything for you? There isn't one, okay? Unicorns don't exist, all right? Stop flip-flopping between systems. Who here has used probably 4 or 5 different systems in the past 12 months? No? Nobody? Okay, well, y'all are an excellent crowd. Next slide then. Listen, I know people in the wholesaling industry that you flip-flop between systems over and over and over again. And that was one of the things that hurt us when it came to wholesaling, okay? I want to make sure that you guys understand that when you decide on a system, especially if it's referred by somebody, that there's a reason why it works. You have to become good at that and stop searching for a different kind of system, okay? So this is the next thing. When you decide on systems, become a master of that system. Stop looking for some unicorn system out there that's going to do the work for you, okay? The next thing is focusing your habits, okay? The habits are your processes within your business. So we use batch leads, we use batch dial, okay? So batch leads is where we pull our list, skip trace, send our SMS, batch dial is just a dial, okay? Now, anybody out there can use those systems, and there's nothing special about those systems. What's special about how we use those is the processes that we built within those systems. How we pull our list, how we use the tagging systems, how we transfer the data from the SMS campaigns to the cold call campaigns, how we're using all the tools that are built in those systems. These are the processes that we built. This is what differentiates us and why we're able to, with a team of how many people? 14, 15 people right now? 16 people. 16 people are able to do somewhere in the range of 75 to 80 deals a month. Okay? Because we know that our processes that we built within those systems that we're going to use, no matter what, can differentiate us. Because we are constantly working on them, and we're focused on them, and they become our habits every single day. Anyone on my team can tell you how we pull our list, how we name them, why they're tagged the way they are, how we're going to comp properties. It's uniform within our business. And that's extremely important because that's something that we struggled with for probably 4 or 5 years. Okay? Who here watched me do the 50 deals in 50 states in 50 days challenge? Okay? A couple of you guys. Does anybody know who I am?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, just making sure. All right, so I went crazy and tried to do 50 deals in 50 states in 50 days on YouTube, okay? This was not a publicity stunt or for other people. This was for us at Titanium. We needed this. That is how we built our processes. Because I inundated myself in our business for 50 days straight and understood where we were making mistakes because we weren't using those systems. Our acquisitions managers were. Our disposition managers were. Not RJ and Cassie, not the leaders of the business. We just paid, a couple $100 for a system and said, here's how you use it, now go use it, and let them go do it. Doing the 50-day challenge is where I immersed myself within that system and created these habits, okay? The next thing is being consistent as a tree, okay? Now listen, everybody always laughs when I talk about this. Cassie just laughed, but you never notice a tree growing, okay? You'll go buy a small little annual and you'll plant it, and the next thing you know, it's this big. It lives for 6 months and then it dies as soon as it gets cold, right? When you plant a tree, the next thing you know, 5 years later, it's 50 feet tall. This is what I want my business to be like. I don't necessarily want people noticing these drastic, huge waves and differences. I want us to be consistent every single day on, this is the systems that we use, these are our habits, the processes, and we're consistent every single day. And if the consistency is there, we talk about consistency within marketing, right? But it's consistency on showing up, how we talk to sellers, how we run comps, every single day, not just consistency within marketing. It's easy to pull a trigger on a direct mail postcard, or picking up the phone and dialing, or sending out text messages. It's consistency within everything else that we do. Consistency as leaders. Most of us here are probably business owners and leaders. Consistency on what your team sees from you. Your leadership, everything needs to be consistent within your business. And that is another thing that will differentiate you, okay? This is how we feel like you create your own reality. And we talk about that to our students. You guys are taking the time out of your day on a Saturday to sit in a dark convention center to listen to some dude wearing a Viking hoodie and a wrestling belt, okay? This is fucking insanity, but it's up to you to do something. Chris Jefferson's gonna get here. He's one of my good friends. I love CJ. He's gonna have a ton of value to bring to you, okay? The other speaker, I talked to Randy last night on the airplane. We sat next to each other. I'm sure whatever he spoke about this morning was, I can't even begin to understand what he means by Mr. Land Trust, but I'm interested. I want to learn more about that. But it's up to you guys to be able to implement that. Okay? It's up to you to create your own reality. Whatever it is you came here for, figure it out and actually do something with it. because I get so tired of seeing people show up to these same events. Some people have already told me today this is their third time with being at this event. Okay? Can you go back and tell me what life-changing events in your business happened the first time you showed up, the second time? And what are you here to achieve after your third time? Are you going to sit here and yawn and fall asleep? Or are you actually going to listen and implement something to do something to change your life? Okay? Alright, so now our marketing flow. Yes, that's my promo code. That's an affiliate code. I am an all-American capitalist. Okay? I have a shameless affiliate plug right there, and I have no apologies about it. Okay? Because I love batch leads. I think it's the most powerful tool in all of real estate investing. It changed my life. Okay? Now, what we do with batch leads is we pull our list. And I'm going to tell you right now exactly. Does anybody want to know how we pull our list? I'm going to quick rundown. Okay. Here we go. Get your pens ready and write down fast because we don't have too long. 2.5 minutes per slide. Residential, individually owned, equity 50 to 100%, estimated value in that median range depending on the market. So most markets it's going to be 100,000 to 350,000, okay? And that's obviously not going to work in places like Phoenix or Las Vegas or Seattle or places like that. You got to bump it up, and then it's also not going to work in Jackson, Mississippi. You got to bump it down, okay? All right, that's just what changes, okay? We're also going to include individually owned. I don't want to talk to the company owned, okay? After that, I'm going to include all the vacants, the tax defaults, the liens, the pre-foreclosures, the inherited, the expired listings, and the unknown equities. That's my list that we pull every single day across the country. If you want to watch that, we got a 45-minute video of me doing it on YouTube. Okay, you can go watch it. Say it again.
You stack that list as one list, everything you just mentioned?
Everything's one list. And we use tags inside the batch lead system so we know when they call me and they say, "What the fuck did you call me?" Well, you're under pre-foreclosure and you're behind on your taxes, sir, that's why. If you've ever watched me on the phone, that's exactly how I talk to them. That's how you end up wearing a belt like this and being called fighting. Okay? So, if you're interested in using this, use that promo code so I can buy more Starbucks like I did this morning. Right here, baby. Alright. The next thing we do, once we're done with batch leads, okay, we pull that list, we skip trace it. Every time I pull the list, I name it the same thing. City, state, hyphen, what I'm doing with it. Acquisitions or dispositions, hyphen, the motivating criteria. So if it's dispositions, that's going to be cash buyers, right? If it's acquisitions, it's more likely going to be absentee, vacant, pre-foreclosure, whatever, hyphen, the date, okay? It's important that you name things on a system. Right, that's process. Yes, ma'am.
What do you use for skip tracing?
Batch.
Batch, okay.
So as soon as I pull that list, I skip it right there inside batch leads. Once it's skip traced, I push it to an SMS campaign. We've got 25 initial text templates that we use across the country. When you're using text message marketing, your goal is to start a conversation, not to ask them if they want to sell their house. If you ask them if they want to sell their house, your delivery rate's going to suck because AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile are going to suppress it. And they're not going to respond to you because you shot your shot. That's like walking up to a girl and being like, "Hey, you want to have sex?" She's going to be like, "Oh, little Ford, don't you think? What's your name?" So what we do is we come out and we say, "Hey, did you get my letter I sent you? Who is this? What letter? Oh, sorry about that. This is RJ Bates. I'm interested in buying this property. You're looking to sell?" For whatever reason, that one little icebreaker text makes a huge difference, okay? After we're done with the text message, there's 4 quick replies. So in our system, we have 4 quick replies. It's the initial one, "This is RJ Bates. Are you looking to sell?" Then we ask the questions, "Is the property tenant or owner occupied? If rented, how much is the rent?" And then the condition, good, bad, ugly, or scary, okay? After that, we're ready to make an offer. That's our entire system right there with SMS marketing. Okay? Once we're done with the SMS campaign, we push it to batch dialing. We do not cold call ourselves. We utilize virtual assistants, okay? No one on my team should be wasting their time cold calling someone. Plus, we've already sent out an SMS campaign to them, okay? So we're utilizing virtual assistants to call and ask 4 questions. Do you want to sell? What's the price? What's the occupancy? What's the condition? Once they've asked those 4 questions, it gets sent back to the acquisitions manager with an appointment to call and close the deal. Okay? Once we're done with the cold call campaign, it goes back to batch leads. Now we're going to run a second SMS campaign. Okay? This time, it's not going to be based off of the location, it's going to be based off of the motivating criteria. Okay? So you can go back to where you originally pulled your list, see all of your skip trace data, and instead of saying, I want everything in Seattle, Washington, say, I want all of the bankruptcies, or I want all of the pre-foreclosures, or I want all of the auction properties. And so we call that nationwide acquisitions bankruptcy the date. And we run that campaign through all the SMS, and then we push it to batch dialer, and our VAs cold call it again. And we just run this cycle over and over and over and over again. They never know that we're marketing to them 7 or 8 times in a 3 to 4 month span, because it's coming from different phone numbers, and they don't know it's the same company. And this is how we're able to, we'll go back and we'll look in our system where a seller, week 1 told us no, week 3 told us no, and then week 6 said yes. Where most people would give up during week 1 or week 3, because we keep going and filtering it through the system over and over and over, we're able to get deals that no one else can get. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Yes.
Okay. Drastic. So what he asked was 10 DLC. Okay. This is something new with SMS marketing. It drastically increases your delivery rate as well as your response rate. So our delivery rates were somewhere in the mid 70s. We're now in the mid 90s. And our response rates went from the low 20s to the high 20s. Okay?
What is the terminology that was?
It's a 10 DLC. When you sign up for batch leads, the account manager can walk you through. It's just a very simple program. It's basically the FCC wanting to get their piece of the pie. So they're going to make you pay $40 a one-time fee and then $10 a month, just so they can get their piece of the SMS pie. Okay? Yes, sir.
For the opt-in relating to the SMS campaign, how does that look like? Like, do you use the first text you send an opt-in for the customer? Like, yes?
No, that's what the 10 DLC is doing. So you're registering and you're telling them you're going to be text message marketing to them for marketing. So you're basically getting compliant by registering for the 10 DLC.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's going to be the last slide. I am on social media. You never heard of me before? Are you on social media? Who else? Yes, sir.
If they ask you to take them off your list, will you?
I'll say they're not interested, but I'm not going to take them off the list, no. They might be having a bad day. They regret that decision in a couple weeks. 20 minutes of it. Okay, who else? Yes, ma'am.
How many VAs you have and where you get them?
Andrea Estates and Integria, and we have 4 current VAs. Who else? Yes.
Do you submit these deals for the wholesale?
Yes, we do.
How do you submit these deals to your client?
Reach out to me on social media, and I'll give you a link to our CRM. Okay. Who else? Yes.
What was the platform that you used for the text SMS?
Batch leads. Promo code Titanium for half off your first month, so I can buy Starbucks. Okay. Now listen. On that note, Batch offers affiliate codes to every single person. So does PropStream, so does Propelio. I'm just going to tell you something. One of the most life-changing moments I ever had in my life was the first time I ever met Brent Daniels. Who knows Brent Daniels? Mr. TTP, okay? Brent Daniels is a great guy. I love him. He's even more fun in person than he is on video, I'm just saying. He's a lot more savage than he is he's family-friendly on camera, right? So, first time I ever met him, he was like, listen, why aren't you doing any affiliate marketing? I said, because man, it feels icky. I like to tell people, hey, I want to make money off of this. And he was like, Does it feel icky when you get stroke checks for $50,000 a month and you can do what you want for your family? Isn't that what we're doing this for? To create your own reality? He's like, you're going to be asked to go speak on stage and you're going to be telling people what to do. Shouldn't you get a piece of that? Doesn't hurt you. You're getting half off your first month. And it resonated with me. So for all of you guys moving forward, you should probably think about this because that helps a lot in our business. All right, last thing. This is brand new. Who's seen me on Speed to Lead closer show? Anybody? One person, two people? Okay. So these are Ppc leads. So for us, this eliminates our need to manage our own PPC campaigns that are super expensive. This is Gene Blenkoff, runs this company from the Ukraine. He came to us and he was like, hey, I've got all these leads going on and I need someone to close. And RJ, you're the king closer, right? So can we just have you test out the system? So we did. We are getting 40% of our deals a month from this company right here. 40% comes from batch leads, 40% comes from speed to lead, and 20% comes from batch dial and cold calling. Okay? What these are, nationwide PPC leads. You can go on the website and cherry pick which ones you want to buy. Okay? Now, I only give these codes to our students. So you're the only other people that have ever seen these codes. You can buy a clearance lead for 80% off of the price. Basically, you could go on the site right now and probably find a pre-foreclosure in your city for, I don't know, $14. I had one of my students last time, our last crucible that we just did in January, he bought a pre-foreclosure in his city during the crucible for $20. Walked out in the front yard, contracted it, and now has it under contract for a $40,000 assignment. Okay? This is, don't sleep on this, please. I know it's not a sexy slide, and it's like, okay, he's just telling us to go buy some leads. But legitimately, like they're 1 out of every 7 dials that make I get a contract. And if you want to go count that up, you can go watch it because they're all live on YouTube. Everybody got that?
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about closing, all right? Who here has ever heard people talk or say the phrase, set an anchor price? Okay? So typically when people say that, they're referring to you're setting an anchor very low, right? I look at the anchor a little bit different. And I look at it as, I don't want to be the person that throws out an anchor first. So whenever I'm on the phone with somebody, I want 2 questions answered very, very quickly. Whether it's inbound, outbound, whatever, you'll hear me say, first and foremost, do you want to sell your house? They don't say, yes, I'm pulling away immediately. I'm getting off the phone. Maybe we're just looking, okay, let me know when you do want to sell. I'm not afraid to walk away from a lead. Okay? There's no fear-based decisions. So, do you want to sell? Yes. Check. We can move on. Next on the process. What's your asking price? Now, who here has watched other people close? Online, just other people. How many times do you actually see people ask the second question? I mean, within the first 8 seconds of the conversation, what's your asking price? Like, legitimately, most people teach you don't do that. But what you see when I do that, in those very early on in the conversation, is it catches the seller so off guard, and it makes them the seller, right? Think about that. We talk about closing as if we're the ones that's supposed to be selling something here. I'm the buyer, coming from a place of power, okay? So when I'm talking to them and I ask them right up front, what's your asking price? More often than not, they just come out and they tell me a number. That's them throwing the anchor in the water first, and it starts where the negotiations begin. For example, if a seller throws the anchor out and says $100,000, to me, they're basically saying they're willing to accept $90,000 to $85,000. You tracking?
Yep.
If I say $75,000, to them, they're thinking they can get me up to $85,000 or $90,000. This is just human psychology. That whatever number is first thrown out, the other person's willing to negotiate one way or another. Okay? So I never want to be the first person that throws out a number when I'm talking to a seller. What if I throw out 80,000 and they were thinking 70,000? You think they're going to be like, sir, why would you overpay for my house? You only have to pay 70,000. So it's very important that early on in the conversation, you try to get the anchor thrown out by the seller. Any questions about that?
Yes.
Okay.
What if you say, how much do you want? You say, you call me, you tell me what you're gonna give. You know how they roll.
Yep.
That's exactly right.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't want you to leave.
Hey, can I thank you for engaging? You listened at the beginning.
Thank you.
See, now it makes this next slide so much better, okay? See, like, my transition from here was like, when I made these slides, I thought there was going to be some guy that says, well, what if they do this? Because they do that. And nobody said anything. So thanks for saying that, man. It really makes my speech a lot better, at least mentally. All right. Explain your pain while identifying their pain, okay? So, if they say that to you, okay, now you have to start asking questions, okay? And when you start asking questions, you start telling them your pain. See, we always talk about identifying pain points as finding, hey, they inherited this home, or they're behind on taxes, or they lost their job and they can no longer afford their mortgage. These are the pain points that we normally talk about, especially when it comes to wholesalers talking and trying to buy properties at a discount, right? What we don't ever talk about is explaining to them why we need to buy a property under discount. See, I have to replace the carpet, I have to redo the kitchen, I have to redo the bathroom. Let's talk about this. I love this line more than anything. This is an unemotional experience for me, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. This is just a mathematical equation. I remove the emotion from the conversation and I truly break it down. If the house is worth $100,000, I immediately have to discount it by 25%. And then I explain it to them. Because I have to pay a realtor when I go sell the property, I have to pay the closing costs when I purchase it, I have to pay the closing costs when I sell it, and then I need to feed my kids at the end of the day. Right? Now suddenly I made it an unemotional experience, but then I made it emotional for them. I have to feed my kids. See, I'm doing this to make money. Okay? And then we agreed, paint, carpet, kitchen, bathrooms. Can we agree on a number on how much that's going to cost? $40,000? $35,000? What's that look like? And you'll see when I do this on video that I repeat myself over and over and over again the same way. I don't change it. I'm ingraining this in their mind. Paint, carpet, kitchen, bathrooms, same order. Whichever one I decide. The first way I said it, I repeat it. Can we agree on the price? Before long, the seller will start saying, well, I know you have to do $40,000 worth of work, but where are they going to negotiate on the price? Because the reality of it is, you know, wholesalers have a bad rap for trying to undercut sellers. That's not the case. If the property is distressed and we're truly talking about it, the details, and we're breaking it down, where in that mathematical equation that I just told you should I eliminate money? Should it be not to pay the realtor, not to pay the closing costs and the title companies and the taxes and all that? Should it be I don't make any money? Should it be we don't do the work and rehabilitate these properties? Where is the level of negotiation? See, I've identified my pain points. I've explained it to them. And the whole time, guess what happens when you're explaining your pain points to the seller? They start telling you their pain points. And eventually, that's where you can make it a win-win situation between both of you. This is probably one of my favorite videos I've ever done because it was impromptu. But this whole thing was broken down on a 30-minute video that I did 2 years ago, where a woman wanted to sell her house for somewhere in the range of $20,000 above the after repair value, and it needed work. And I immediately had to make an offer $120,000 less than what she was asking. And in 30 minutes, she agreed. She came down $120,000. And the whole time, you'll see it. I repeated myself. Paint kitchen bathrooms, right? Paint carpet kitchen bathrooms, $40,000. Don't we agree? Mathematical equation. And then just listen. Okay? What do I do about that? This is the last part. The art of shutting up. Okay? When people truly succeed when they're talking to sellers is when they stop talking and they listen to what the seller is telling them. More often than not, the seller will straight up tell you exactly what they need within the first 3 minutes. If you just stop talking. I could not believe it during the Closers Olympics. I got probably 50 text messages or phone calls from people that watched the first day. And then they all ask the same question. How do you get people to give you so much information so early on in the conversation? And it's because I just ask the question, and then I don't have to force myself into the equation anymore. It's a human-to-human interaction. It's like when I walked up to Peter and I said, "Hey Peter, what do you do?" Now imagine if he started talking and I was like, "Hold on, insert closer mode. Let me interrupt you and say something else." No, shut the fuck up and just listen. Like, he told me exactly what he did. This is what sellers will do. They will tell you exactly what they need. They'll just break it down for you and walk you to the promised land. And before long, I just did it the other night on another live. Talked to one seller. He says, "Listen, I'm asking, do you want to sell your house?" "Yes." "How much are you asking for it?" $10,000. "What can you tell me about the property?" Blah, 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 for about 6 minutes. And then at the end of it, he just dropped because I was just completely silent. All I'm doing is pulling comps and looking, and he's just talking and talking. And he says, "You know, in reality, RJ, here's the deal. I don't need $10,000. I need $3,500 right now to save my house." Okay, would you like for me to send over a contract for $3,500? Yes, I would. That was the close. Shutting up and just listening to what people have to say is vitally important when it comes to talking to sellers. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about talking to sellers?
Yes.
Okay?
When you say shut up,
Yep.
do you actively listen? Oh, yes, RJ, I get it. Read that.
You know, I do sometimes. I do that more with people from the Northeast.
You make sound like sometimes, so you're like.
I try to mirror people, so I'm just gonna be honest with you, and if it pisses you off, I mean, it can be, but I mean, people up in the Northeast, they love to hear themselves talk. So, especially, you know, New Jersey, New York, so yeah, those guys, yeah, you know, like, yeah, gotcha, cool, because that's what they like to do. Now in the South, if I did that to like, you know, that's rude, you're interrupting. Like, that's why, you know, you're being an asshole down south. It's like, shut up, listen, you know? So I don't do that, you know, but other parts of the country, I think it's important just to try to mirror what their energy is on the phone, you know? And then understand, I don't talk to the 60-year-old male landlord the same way I do the 60-year-old owner-occupant female. Right? Those are two different, very different conversations. One's going to be much quicker, faster pace, probably more actively listening, and also listening to the stories about his career and how much better of an investor he is than me, in comparison to the owner-occupant, where I have to listen to the fact that she, you know, has her grandkids coming over and she doesn't want to get rid of them, but she has to downsize. Like, these are the typical, prototypical stories that you have to listen to. But in between there, it's about deciphering what is the information that I need to take to actually move this back to closing, right? What other questions we got? Nothing.
6 minutes.
Did we all close that well in here? Yes, ma'am.
Is this new law here in Florida
there's a new law here in Florida that if you get a text message from a business that you didn't opt in for, you can sue them. You have all that correct?
Yes.
So here's one of my I pride myself on this, okay? I let the people that are much smarter than me in those kind of circumstances deal with that. So Batch Leads is TCPA compliant, and they follow all the laws in regards to that. And then as well as when I register with the 10 DLC, that's my way of going to the FCC and saying, this is what I'm going to be doing. So to my understanding, if I do that, then I am protected from litigation. That is what I understand. Now, the reality of the situation is you are going to get sued in business. I got sued by a end buyer on a wholesale deal because they terminated the day of closing and signed a release of earnest money to me, and then I sold it to someone else. And 6 months later, they sued me for their earnest money because they got the feelings hurt that they lost $5,000. They didn't have any right, they lost. But you can have the right to sue people for damn near anything. So I've been sued probably 20 plus times. Never lost. But I'll probably keep getting sued. If I ever get sued for a text message, and I have to pay a $10,000 fine or $15,000 fine or whatever it is, that's okay. So I've made millions of dollars doing it. And I'll figure out what did I mess up in the process. So I'll make mistakes along the way. Yes?
When you're starting out, how do you build your buyers list?
Facebook groups is number one, okay? Second is going to be call the local title companies. I think there's a couple of sponsors here that are title companies. Go to them and say, hey, who are your real end buyers, right? Peter, do you use like a typical title company over and over and over again? So he has a title. So I bet you, if you went to his title company and said, hey, do you have a real end buyer, like cash buyer that's looking for deals? They're probably going to tell you Peter's name. And the reason why is because they want Peter to close on more deals, because that's how they make their money. The second person that's going to do that, which I saw chock full of hard money lenders. They need borrowers. What do borrowers need? Deals. You have the deals, they have the money, and they also have the borrowers. That's a match made in heaven right there. So to go to a hard money lender and say, hey, who are your best borrowers that I can bring deals for West Palm Beach or Miami or Jacksonville or wherever it is, they're going to tell you. Those would be the top three ways.
And you can just go up and just, hey, this is who I am and this is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, look at me.
Start like this is what I'm
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, just at some point in time, it's like I just made a decision that I want to go up and have conversations, and that's what's life changing. When you just have conversations with the right person, that can change your life. One of those hard money lenders, I guarantee back there, has a monster whale of a buyer, and they're just waiting for more deals.
Hard money lenders, raise your hands.
They're all out there. What are the questions? How many minutes we got? 2. Okay.
RJ,
Yes.
Thank you for your time. I know I'm monopolizing this.
No, it's okay.
Okay, you do a lot of virtual. I've done virtual deals. Now, your seller says, hey, RJ, we're closing tomorrow, but I got this other wholesaler, Angie's offering me $15K more. What do you do? Memorandum of affidavit?
We're under contract, man. What are you talking about? Who's Andy?
Specific performance. You're under contract with the seller. You're supposed to close. They say, hey, RJ, I got a higher offer. I'm not closing with you.
Oh, you mean the seller?
Memorandum of affidavit. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be bad situations that pop up in any form of real estate, and you just have to navigate the conversation and explain to them, like, listen, we came to an agreement, we have a signed contract. I mean, but there's gonna be shitty people out there that are just gonna put you in awkward positions. I mean, one of the things I learned a long time ago is you really can't force someone to sell a house if they don't want to, right? And our job is to be solving people's problems. So the reality of that situation would probably be, if they're doing that, we probably didn't solve their problem well enough, right? What's up, bud? Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
So, when you're working on leads, right, if you keep running into walls with the seller, or they're working on it.
What's a wall?
Like when you keep running into issues.
Yeah, what's the issue?
Type like, the seller doesn't want to sign a contract, that's a sign for. Oh, the seller wanted 2,000 in escrow, now she wants more. It's like a couple different things, right? That you're running into. So
Right.
trying to work to do. Like, how do you determine when to walk away, knowing that they're not quitting when it's still just not happening?
You ever watch any of my videos? My closings happen in 7.5 minutes. Like, there is no, we're gonna get off the phone and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And there are no walls. Juggernaut, baby. Going through the wall right now. What wall you got? Solve it. Problem solver, baby. You want an EMD? Let's do an EMD. That's fine. But this is the reason why I don't want to do an EMD, right? Hold on. There was a slide about this. See, I explained my pain while identifying the sellers, right? So I need $2,000 EMD. Well, ma'am, let me explain the reason why I can't do $2,000 EMD. And you're gonna understand because you're never gonna get the EMD. It's a mythical, magical number that you're never gonna know. It just makes you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. But when you just let her sell the house, see, you're never gonna get it because I have a clause in there that says I will terminate the contract if I need to before I have to release you to earn this money. And the reason why I can't give you $2,000 is because I have 80 deals under contract right now. Now would be how much? $160,000 just sitting in title companies so they can do nothing with? That's dumbassery. Then I can't help solve your problem. I can't buy your house. So anyways, let me just send you over the contract. Let's look over it together. And I'm solving your problem. You're solving my problem. So, there you go. All right. Hey, real quick, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. Those are the 3 best places. And listen, I love TikTok. I didn't think I was going to, but I've been posting on there for like a month, and it is so damn fun and engaging. So if you want to go watch 15, 30-second clips of me closing sellers, follow me on TikTok. Thank you guys.